Oh, she's right there. Hello, good evening, and welcome. I made it back despite all my obstacles. So, I have today joining me my husband Dom. For those that don't know, we have been married for 6 years. Really?
Continue.
Yeah, but can you pay attention?
I'm paying attention. I'm right here, sweetheart.
We've been married almost 6 years, and
Sharp as hell.
yeah. So, we are going to have a topic that I mentioned last week. But first, before we do that, I would like everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's okay with Tam Tam. Also to like and follow our page on Facebook. It's okay with Tam Tam. And ring the bell on the YouTube page so you can see when we go live. We intend to go live every week, but it seems like life almost always happens. I almost didn't make it this week. We did have a death in the family, so I just got back in town yesterday. So we are getting ready. So please, I would like everybody who comes on to interact. We would like to have comments and see what people are saying. And we understand that some people are not going to agree with us. So please post any opinions that you may have.
Whether they're wrong or not. I mean, that's okay.
They're your opinions, and there is no right or wrong answer. So the question that we're talking about today is, how involved should your ex be in your new relationship? And this question came about because I like to watch 90 Day Fiance, and he ends up having to watch it with me. And so there's a couple of couples on there that are, their exes are very involved. You know, remember what couples that I'm talking about? The guy from Ethiopia and the Caucasian.
Oh, yeah. The Jewish girl that.
Yeah.
Her ex-husband. That's really.
Her ex-husband. So they're divorced. They have no kids. And so she went to Africa, met a guy, she got pregnant, and now they're engaged. I think they got married. I don't know, but they're engaged. And she was living in Ethiopia, and the ex-husband comes to visit her in Ethiopia. And then on top of that, when they decide to get engaged, I forgot, when he came to Ethiopia, he bought her some bras and underwear too, which, whatever. And then later on, they moved to the U.S. They got engaged. They're planning their wedding. And the ex-husband is actually helping her pick out her wedding dress to her new spouse. So that kind of, we've had this, me and him had discussion on that. And then there was another couple where the girl is, I think it's from Trinidad, and they're Muslim. She's dating a guy who was previously married. And so the guy wants the future wife to sign a prenup, but the ex-wife wants to have a say in it because she says she's trying to protect her children. So what do you think?
What do I think about the TV show? I think it's nonsense. But
what do you think? I mean, because honestly, although it's a TV show, needless to say, I guarantee you there's somebody that is dealing with some stuff like this.
Yeah,
I guarantee
I think that there's an ex an ex is just that. It's ex. It's out. It's done. And so unless you want to be with your ex, then be with your ex. If not, then be with a new person. And the ex has really no bearings or no place in a new relationship. I just, to me, that's not even a question. I don't.
Well, what about, she says her comment is that they're best friends. Do you think it's?
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to cuss on the show.
It's a show. Just
it's bullshit. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's.
So do you?
I think people fool themselves and saying we're best friends and all. Yeah, right. Okay.
Why do you think they can't be a best friend?
Because they've already crossed the line
of being lovers.
Intimacy, yeah. Oh. They've slept together.
So once you sleep with somebody, you can't revert back to being friends.
I'm under the impression men really don't have women friends. It's in very rare instances that you really have women friends. And I mean, it's occasional that it can happen, but not that close. Not like that. It's just, and I know a lot of people would disagree with me, and that's okay. But
if you disagree, write in. Let's hear your comments, and let's hear somebody else's opinion.
But I'll tell you, men, you can't tell me.
So you're saying
men are at some point, you're thinking at some point, what if this? That's just how men think.
So
I'm not saying they're going to act on it, but and I think given the right opportunity, you will cross the line.
So let's say we're not nowhere near a divorce, but we got a divorce. You wouldn't be my friend after?
For what? What would we have in common? Why would we?
What we have in common?
Outside of the baby. I mean, outside of the baby. Let's say we didn't have Zoe. Why would we be friends?
Well,
for what?
No, to be honest with you, I totally agree with you. I can't see that. And I agree. Like, you can have a platonic relationship, especially if there's no kids. You can have a platonic relationship, but it's very limited. Like, going overseas to see somebody, and it's supposed to be a platonic relationship, but you've already, like you say, have crossed the line. Like, I can't see that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. We wouldn't be friends if we got divorced, because first of all, if we got divorced, you're always gonna have that in your head. Like, this is somebody I used to be with. So, like, why? Like, why? Yeah. So let's see, Miss Ronnie, the first couple you mentioned definitely needs more boundary. Yes. Yeah. That seems odd, especially the underwear and bra situation. Yes.
Yeah, it's freaky. It's not odd. They know exactly what they're doing. They're still in love with each other. She just happened to get pregnant by this other dude. That's just.
And I think the future husband that she has, he knows this. I mean, to the point where I thought he was going to kill the man. Remember, they were sparring and he just kind of tapped him a couple of times. And next thing you know, he put him in a chokehold and wouldn't let go. And the guy kept tapping out and he wouldn't let go. Yeah. So I definitely agree with that. So Ronnie also said, I believe friendship is possible, but I believe your spouse has to be on board.
That's right. Yeah.
On a level of respect has to be created.
Yeah, this is a really, really good point here, because I think what happens in these situations is the spouse that has a friend, their judgment is a little clouded, right? Because it's probably more than a friendship. It's, but the spouse that's on the other side that I guess what I'm getting to is you got to trust your spouse. If your spouse is not comfortable with it, there's a reason why. And it's not just pride or ego. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times they're trying to protect you from being in a bad situation, right?
Wait, hold that thought, because I have a comment on what you just said, but I'm gonna Ronnie's comment. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for chiming in. Plus, she's crazy, disrespected in how she treats her new husband. I'm not a fan of that at all. She's abusive and possessive. Mm-hmm. Yes, she is very much so.
So apparently Ronnie's watching the same show. So she understands the situation.
But I wanted to make a comment about what you said about a man kind of knows and
no, I'm saying the other spouse, right? So if you have this friend,
but
I'm like, look, I need you to, or if I have this friend and you're telling me,
that's what I'm getting into. So we have had situations where, okay, first of all, even before I was in a relationship, my friend Brittany could tell you, like, hands down, like, a guy could flirt with me and I would have no clue at all. So anyway, but we've had situations where we talked about it, and so something happened and Dom is like, no, he's not looking for a friendship. He's like, looking for. I'm like, no, he's not. And so we've had discussions and we have come to the agreement that if he's saying like, this guy is looking for more than what you're thinking, then I leave it alone. But I don't cross that line, because I know that's something that I don't see. So as my spouse, I respect him and what he's saying, because ultimately he's there to protect me and our relationship. And for me to help protect the relationship, I have to respect what he's saying. And I know some people may say it's about control, and it's not. It's about respecting someone's feeling, because I know if the things were turned, I expect him to be on board with me saying, no, she's wanting more, like, you need to distance this, like this is the end of this.
Yeah, but I think with your spouse, even if the other person's not wanting the more and your spouse is uncomfortable with you having friends of the opposite sex, you're in that. You're committed. It's you and your spouse against the world, right? You need to respect your spouse's wishes or their feelings, I guess, or whatever you want to say, for the relationship's sake, right? And I think we, both sides would want that same courtesy. If it makes them feel comfortable, you have to protect your marriage,
right,
from any outside forces,
right. So what about the second couple where they're not? She's not trying to perpetrate like they have some kind of friendship. So the ex-wife is involved with kind of the prenup situation going on, and she's kind of involved in the new wife because they have kids, and that's her thing. She said, I have kids, and she said their father has built up he's become financially stable, and I need to be sure that my kids are taken care of if you leave the relationship, or during the relationship. I need to make sure my kids are taken care of. So what do you think about that one?
I see her point, but it's still not their money, and it's not her money, right? So, when I'm alive, my kids don't have a right to my stuff. It's my stuff, and I can do with what I please to do with it, right? So,
But I think she's talking about when he's gone too.
Yeah, but when they went through their divorce,
they
separated their stuff. Mm-hmm. So she can do with her stuff what she wants. He can do with his stuff what he wants, even at death, right? Like, if we decide that when we die, we don't want our kids to have nothing, we want it to all go to nonprofit. Mm-hmm. We have that right. Now, that's not what we're going to do, but we have that right to do that. And so in that situation, the split has already happened. She has her stuff, he has his stuff, and they can do with their stuff whatever they want.
Yeah, but I kind of see what she's saying, because she's like, although she's trying to protect him, she's really trying to protect her kids' assets, basically saying, like, she don't want him to be in a situation where this woman comes in, marries him, and she runs off with all the money. Now he's sitting there Now he can't even pay child support or whatnot
Well,
or whatever.
That was his dumb self for
Yeah, but
doing
that
it.
still affects
Yeah.
her kids. That affects the life of her kids. So it's not, but like now, it's not like the other one where it's it's a friendship or whatever. She's protected. She's a mama bear. She's protecting her kids.
Yeah, you can
Let's see
This is Ronnie has a good
what she says. That one,
It's a tad more difficult because there's layers, and
yes,
she talks about it's a cultural misunderstanding, and that's important.
but
And
how's
so-
it? But they're all Muslim.
Yeah, so she's saying that especially
They're
in the Muslim
friends,
community,
but I believe especially in yeah.
there's a right. That's a normal thing for them in a Muslim community. So
But then the problem is because the new lady, she's Muslim too. So why is there a problem with the prenup? And she says, Ronnie says, I think she was trying to help, but her attack was poor.
Yeah.
Now I didn't see the whole episode about that. Oh, the cultural difference because the new wife is from Trinidad. Okay. I didn't see the whole episode of how she went about it. I know there was a conversation, and then I didn't see last night's episode, but
Ronnie is all in this show.
well, I appreciate Ronnie,
Ronnie is in this
and I
she
appreciate it.
She is in the 90 Day Fiance. She is in the know.
We have to go on YouTube TV and watch it together so we can buy popcorn and talk. It's like, she shouldn't have did that.
But I think in just in this whole area though, as we're talking about, should your ex have influence or whatever into your new relationship, this does bring up the topic of when you have kids with your ex. How is that dynamic? Because then that person's always going to be a part of your life. But I do think with boundaries, they're really not part of your relationship, and they should not have impact on your relationship. I don't know, but I kind of go back and forth with that because I know.
But they do.
If I have if you and I, something happened with you and I, and Zoe's with you, I'm going to be extremely concerned and interested in who this new dude that's going to be in my daughter's life.
Right. So
but I don't get to make your decisions.
No, but you will in some way, because if you know,
I'll be in every way, because if you try to leave me, I'll just be right there with you. So I'll be there. So that's okay.
But I'm just
I'll
saying,
be sitting there
like,
talking about who's coming to see us tonight.
So Ronnie agrees with you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on my side. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but you will, because I'm sorry, if you dancing with, I mean not dancing, if you're in a new relationship with someone that I think is doing something that's inappropriate and you're not seeing it, then I am going to be there,
of course,
to protect. But that means I'm gonna have some say, like, no, like I'm not gonna say you can't date her, but I'm gonna say you can't see her while you're around. You can't see Zoe while you're around this woman.
So the bottom line is more of you're not involved in my relationship. You're involved with our child's relationship.
So Ron said, I can relate to her looking out because I've had to have these conversations with my children's father because I want to protect my children's benefits and resources. Exactly. That's why that other lady from Trinidad.
I mean, again, I could see why she's there, but at the same time, when you look at it, they split their stuff. He can do what he wants with his stuff, but there are some really fine lines there.
They split, but it's still like the courts, like she pays child support. I'm assuming he pays child support.
All right, so let's just say this. Let's just say this. All right, if we're together, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we got $100,000 in the bank, right? We divorce. You get 50, I get 50. We go our separate ways.
But you have children.
You have no right to tell me what I'm gonna do with my 50K.
But you have children, because the courts come in and tell you how you're gonna pay your child support.
But they can't tell me about my. Yeah, of course, but that's my responsibility as long as I do my responsibility.
But that's the point, because if this woman comes in she steals all his money, now he goes to court and he says, "Look, I have no money. Now there's no child support. You paying $50."
So we split up. Zoe stays with me, right?
That ain't happening.
Look, Zoe stays with me. You go get a job and you want to quit your job, and I'm like, you can't quit your job. You got to pay your child support.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that happens all the time. You can't quit your job.
No, you could quit your job, but you still gotta pay the child support.
No, because the courts will come in
But I
and they will
can't
lower
make-
lower the child
Yeah.
support because it's based
But
on
I
your
can't
income.
I can't make you stay on a job.
No, and that's part of the problem. So, but that's why she's
But-
trying to protect his assets because she knows that.
I don't know about this one. I understand the rationale about it. I understand the rationale. So if she gets remarried, he has a right to tell her, I need to see your prenup.
First of all, they're Muslim, and yeah, he's gonna be all over that. He's gonna be all over that.
Maybe not. We don't know. I don't know. But anyways, I see the rationale in it. I see
Because
that.
he's the same one that told the girl to be quiet.
I don't know. So does she also get to choose what he does with his money? Does she get to also choose what his will says because they have kids?
Actually, if I remember correctly, she was involved with some of the will
But does
stuff.
she have a right, or is that his decision to allow it? I think it's not her right. I think it's his decision to do it. She could do it what she wants with her stuff. He could do what he wants with his stuff. I'm not telling you what's right and wrong. I mean, look, I say this.
Well, let's go. Everybody knows
No.
This is our opinion. That's what it is. It's not law.
No.
Go ahead.
So I say this: any two parents that are co-parenting, right? They're not married anymore. They're divorced and they're co-parenting now. The more that they can work together, the better for the kids. Period. Regardless,
Right.
I think the better
Right.
for the kids. As it relates to relationships, you still have to. The relationship has to. There has to be boundaries around that relationship for it to be healthy.
Ronnie said that part.
Yeah. See.
So we understand boundaries, and that's the other thing we started to talk about before I went back to the show about establishing the boundaries of like when it's just co-parenting. If one leaves the other, and because you're gonna have other people involved in the child's life. But when you're married, like you do that now. Like we do that now. Like, we don't want Zoe to interact with certain people. You want her to go to certain daycares or certain schools or whatever. So, so if you're divorced or not together anymore and you have another relationship, you still have to come together for that.
I think it also depends on this is how the outside person, how they
What do you mean the other person?
How they respect your current spouse, your ex.
Oh, the ex.
Because if they're disrespectful and they can't act right, that changes everything as well.
What do you mean they can't act right?
They don't know how to act. They don't know how to respect your new spouse, right?
So they're treating the new spouse a certain way.
Yeah. And so I think all that has to go together. Right?
I love it. Ding ding ding.
Yeah. I think all that has to go together. But unfortunately for the spouse that's in the middle, a lot comes on that person because they have to put proper boundaries. You can talk about the kids, but they don't even talk about everything else. You have to have the proper boundary there so that it's tough.
But see, because the thing is, it's like to do to interact with a child it's just not physical. There's financial responsibilities as well.
Yeah. So then just send the money.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing about the lady. She's like, his resources. I don't want you to take his resources away. And now
we've moved on from that lady. We've already had a commercial break. Went to the next episode. Everything. We're
on what?
We're on a whole nother show. We're dealing with the other folks now.
We're dealing with the dating
we're back
and
to Ethiopia and the lady. I mean,
that was
But real life, I mean, it's a tough situation. I think when there's no kids involved, that's a very clear line. In my opinion, it's a very clear line. There's no kids involved. That's it, right? There's no reason to really keep, because I think what you're doing really is keeping the door open. Whether you're honest with yourself or not, I think you're kind of keeping the door open. But I mean, I've seen people do it, but I still think you're keeping the door open. I would not be comfortable with it.
Let's talk about this. This is a real life story. It's not a TV show. This is a conversation that I had with somebody. So
What's somebody?
I'll tell you later. It's really not like that.
No.
So this person told me that they're divorced.
Okay, this ain't somebody that's like trying to talk to you.
No.
Okay. Let's go.
So this person is divorced. Well, he was married. They had kids. He's divorced. He's remarried. Who the new wife is divorced and she's had children. So for the holidays, everybody comes together and stays in the house together, and they celebrate together. And when they go visit, all of them stay in the house together. What do you think?
So I think if that really happens and all spouses are there, I think it's pretty.
They said they do it for the kids.
Yeah, I think it's pretty admirable. I mean, that takes a lot of sacrifice, especially for the outside spouses, the new spouses. If they can do that, I think for the kids, it's very powerful. And I think in a perfect world, that's good, but it wouldn't be, one spouse missing, the spouses are missing and they're together or something like that. Or like if one was single and then one was married and the married person's spouse wasn't there and they were all staying together, that ain't going. But like if you have two spouses that have kids together, or two married couples that have a blended family that's connecting them, if they can have the right boundaries, are mature enough, can handle it with their egos and everything else, and all spouses have to respect each other, I think that's kind of like the perfect situation. But I think it's very difficult to do. But if
Ronnie
it can,
has the hand clap.
If it can be done, again for the children, that can be a very powerful statement for the kids. But I think that in today's world, that's tough to do, because it's not just the exes that have to have boundaries; it's their spouses as well. And I mean, everything has to work perfect. And if it does, it's very powerful. I think it would be. Thank God I'm not in that. I've never been in that situation. I think it'd be very powerful, but tough.
I'm letting you know, I'm not mature enough to handle that. Like, I'm not staying in the house with my ex-husband, even though he's married, engaged. I don't know what he is, but he has a significant other that he's been with for a while. All of us are not going to be sitting up in the same house with you and your ex-wife. I'm not sitting up in the house with your ex-wife having sleepovers. Yeah. Not happening.
I don't think I could necessarily do that either. I wouldn't like it. It would not make me feel comfortable at all. I'm just saying
ideally,
in a perfect world,
I'm letting you know, no, that's not happening with me, because you can call me immature, you can call me whatever you want.
But you're saying from a different perspective. Well, I don't know. You said my wife too.
Yeah, I say your wife. We're not sitting up in I'm not sitting up and she in the next room, and y'all creeping. No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be no creeping.
It should not be. But I mean, people have exes. Exes get back together.
So from what you're saying is, you should not have a relationship with your ex.
Do I have a relationship with my ex?
No, but I'm just saying. But that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
But you're
saying unfortunately, what we just talked about that, like, because in my head now, me and my ex are nowhere getting back together. So his girlfriend, his significant other don't have to worry about that, and Dom doesn't have to worry about that. But understand, like, you have already crossed the boundaries with that person, and it could happen again. I don't know, get drunk or something. I don't know. But so that would be always in the back of my head. Your ex-wife sitting there, and then and I'm sure that the kids would love to see that. I just can't. I just.
I mean,
and when this person told me that, I said, I can't do that. Yeah. He said, and he says he can't stand his ex-wife, but he does it for the kids. I just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it would be tough for me. I don't think it's something I would do or want to do.
So if I brought it to you and said, hey, they don't have a hotel, like, can they just come stay the night at the house?
Ooh.
Yeah, Brianna will really appreciate it. It can't be uncomfortable when it's successful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree, Ron. I think it is, but
yeah, but I just can't.
I just don't know how. I think in the reality is it's extremely rare that it happens, but when it does, I think it's something that can be good. But
I think I just know myself, and I know, well, I should say I'm learning myself. I know my anxiety would be so high and I'll be so stressed out. It would not.
That's because I'm.
Yeah, you're all that, sweetheart. You're all that in a bag of chips.
Box
of Red Hots.
Oh, large.
A box of Red Hots. You know I love my Red Hots. Yeah. My Red Hots are my downfall. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that is, again, strictly our opinion on a topic. We are not dealing with that. We don't have any issues with either one of our exes being involved in our relationship or disrespecting either one of us. We do not have to deal with that. Thank God. All the issues that we have are our issues that we have. not outside people. So anyway, that is the end of our session. If you have any comments or anything that you want to say, please put them on here and I will try to respond back to them. And we will be back next week with a different topic, or maybe we have a different guest that are coming. I don't know.
Where are you going to be? You going to leave?
Where I'm going?
Oh, you said we're going to have a different guest?
Yeah, we can put a stream them in too.
Oh.
No, I'm not. You so silly. Anyway, so please like and subscribe. Like and follow our Facebook page. It's Okay with Tam Tam, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Okay with Tam Tam.
Ronnie, thanks for being involved.
Yes, because this is what I want. Yes, because we need some people's input, not just ours, because our opinions can be very one-sided. I know this, because our opinions are based on usually our experiences. So hope you guys have a wonderful evening. See you next time.
What?